shop that I found uh, near my place, and it's quite nice, quite nice. You see, it's very, it's like nature, right? It's like sitting out in nature. It's one of the things I love most about being in Vietnam, the nature. Everything is really nature oriented here. Um, Restaurants, coffee shops, everything. Really beautiful. So y'all see I have my tea. This is complimentary. So all of this is complimentary. Only in Vietnam. Okay? I've never experienced getting this anywhere. And this, to me, this is better than the coffee. I would pay for this. I always say this. I would pay for this before I pay for the coffee. But it is what it is. So this is free. I don't know the price of this. It's probably going to be maybe 15 or 20. So either going to be, it's definitely less than $1. Okay. So let me show y'all around a little bit, and then we'll get into it. I really don't know what I'm going to talk about. And I usually don't know what I'm going to talk about. But let's see, let me turn around. I just kind of go with the flow, y'all. All right, so you see it's really very beautiful, very nature oriented. You can come in here and relax, really get your mind off things, you know, or get your mind on things, right? Depending on your point of view, what you're trying to do. So you see it's quite nice in here, and it's open air cafe. I would like to own something like this, to be honest with you. You know, I've always been a kind of person who goes to coffee shops. So you see these are like lily pads in a pond, and you can sit in them. And then they have those white and orange fish. These fish are for luck. So y'all know in Vietnam, or a lot of parts of Asia, they don't believe in a deity. Okay, it's more, from what I understand at this point, it's more about luck, being lucky, right? And somehow or another, your ancestors can help you be lucky. Okay, so it's not about any deities. If they have an altar here, I'll show y'all what I've been told about the altar. But when they open, it's early in the morning. When they get everything going, this is actually a waterfall. It's really nice. It's a waterfall. I really like it. But it's really nice here. I'm gonna start coming here instead of that other place. So y'all see, this is a traditional type of thing where you're sitting low. Vietnamese people, they have a low, small stature, right? Short. And so it's comfortable for them to sit like that. But for me, that wouldn't be comfortable at all. Yeah, that wouldn't be comfortable at all. Probably for anybody who's over 6 feet, it's not going to be comfortable to sit so close to the floor, especially if you're not flexible. But they have something, I see Vietnamese people doing it too. It's called Western people call it the Asian squat. It's like they can squat down and sit like that for an hour, right? They're on their feet, but they're squatting down. Very difficult for me. But Asian people can do it, I guess because they're so short. But anyway, I hope this will become my new favorite coffee shop. I can stop going to that other one where those people smoke so much. But anyway, going back to every Vietnamese house has either a room or an area with what we would call an altar. And on that altar, they have pictures of their ancestors, right? They have pictures of their ancestors, and they'll have like incense, a bunch of incense, and then they hold the incense, and it looks like they're praying. Okay, they have their hands in a position where it looks like they're praying, you know, and the incense, they'll have like 1 or 2 incense in the center of their hand. Yeah, they'll have 1 or 2 incense that are smoking in the center of their hand. And then on the altar, they'll have fruit, vegetable. I've seen altars where they had vodka, gin, cigarettes. And so I asked, so some people told me, well, that's what my ancestor used to enjoy. Like vodka, or he used to smoke cigarettes, really enjoy cigarettes. And so for me, that's very interesting, because let me make this clear. I don't know a lot about this. I only know what people have told me, and you have to filter that through the language barrier. Okay, y'all? You have to filter what they've said to me through the language barrier. So maybe what they were saying is not what they meant. I don't know, but I'll tell you what I heard, okay? So what they were telling me is that the reason why they put the fruit, the cigarettes, the vodka, or whatever it is that their ancestors enjoy on the altar is so that they could enjoy it again. Even though they're not here, they could still enjoy it. Now, just exactly how that works, I have no idea. At some point, I'll meet somebody who knows enough about it to tell me, and who can speak English well enough, right? Or I'll find a book on it. I was surprised because I've seen bookstores here, and they do have books in English. They do have books in English. So I've seen them. And actually, I've gone by bookstores, like used bookstores, and the owners have offered me for free, y'all, English books. The people here are very, very hospitable. That's why, another reason why I like Vietnam so much. The people are just so hospitable. This guy gave me in his bookstore, he had English and Vietnamese books. It was like a small used bookstore, right? He gave me a whole bag of books. Now, whether or not they were books that he couldn't sell, I have no idea, but one of them was a Bible. But still, that's very kind, right? Very, very kind of him. I don't know why he gave me those books, but he gave them to me for free. So I've experienced like exceptional hospitality in Vietnam, more so than any other country. Yeah. So that's why Vietnam is my favorite country in the whole wide world. In the whole wide world, as Forrest Gump used to say. And Forrest Gump is one of my favorite movies, y'all. In the whole wide world. Yeah. But anyway, so this can take us into a discussion about what happens after death, right? Or to state it in another way, think about this, y'all. Think about this. What happens after death, but what's the other side of that coin? Where were you before birth? Where were you before birth? Where will you go after death? Or were you nowhere? You were non-existent before birth, and you'll be non-existent at death? These are the type of questions that people should really ponder. Now remember, y'all remember this. If you could ask a question, there's an answer. The only way that you won't know the answer is to not ask the question in the first place, or if you ask the question, not do the what? The investigation. So where does that investigation take place? Does it take place inside of yourself or outside of yourself? Well, if y'all listen to one of my more recent live streams, one of the things that I discussed was the mystery of silence and how answers to all questions can be found in silence. Everything is inside of yourself, right? This is why self-confidence is critically important. This is why self-image is critically important, and this explains why media, corporations, for example, the U.S. corporation, and other commercial corporations, y'all hear me? You can include the music industry, the entertainment industry, whether it be music or TV, all of these things. See, doesn't that explain why they put so much, also Hollywood, they put so much effort into showing you negative images of yourself? Doesn't it? Right? To destroy your self-image and to destroy the image of you in other people's minds. Why? So that you'll never, ever, ever rise above the oppression, and so that you'll think that you deserve it at an unconscious level and even at a conscious level, right? So in other words, you never stand up. You accept being on the bottom because you've accepted this negative self-image that they have programmed you with, hypnotized you with from birth. So we're talking Deuteronomy chapter 28. The curse is 15, verse 15, right forward to the end of the chapter. Y'all see that? They put you in a state of mind through hypnosis, through programming, right? Television programming, psychological programming, hypnosis. And y'all agree to it by watching those TV shows and listening to that music. See, you're consenting to it. Therefore, you become responsible. You become responsible, and you reduce or even eliminate their karmic debt because you consent. You're doing it by will, by choice. Y'all understand? There's a universal law or natural law that is consent. I went through this, I guess a couple live streams ago. I talked about consent. Consent is a natural law. You have a right to contract. You have a right to contract. Now let me say something else. Y'all might not like this, all right? But there's a maxim of law, and it goes something like this. It goes something like this. If you're too lazy to check into something, or if you're too busy to check into something, to see if you're being lied to see if you're being deceived. In other words, if you don't do the due diligence for whatever reason, be it sincere, you didn't have time, you had this responsibility, this obligation, Okay? Or let's say worst case, you're just lazy or you're indifferent, you don't give a damn, right? About what happens to you or your little ones or your woman or your man, whatever, your family. And then, okay, you deserve whatever you got coming, right? If you're too busy or too whatever to check into something to make sure that you're not being deceived, well, let you be deceived. Go ahead, right? Remember, in natural law, there is no right and wrong, okay? There's no right and wrong, okay? In other words, this whole morality thing that the church has been pushing has no basis in natural law. And a lot of people who follow natural law will disagree with me on that, but let me tell you why I say that. Because the essence of natural law is not to harm someone else. Do no harm. Do no harm. That's not an issue of morality. That's a natural law. Do no harm. Okay, so the essence, it's at the most fundamental level. The essence of natural law is do no harm. So you don't need any moral or ethical arguments. You don't need any moral rules, right? You don't need 100 different rules about morality. You just need to know not to harm someone, right? So if you have an intact personality, if you have an intact personality, you're going to be able to do what? You'll understand how people feel, right? You'll say, wow, if I do that, I'm going to harm this person. Do this person some type of damage, either physically or emotionally. So you don't do it. Okay? You don't need no treaties on morality or ethics for that, right? Because you know you're born with something called empathy, the ability to know how somebody feels or would feel in a certain situation, right? That was given to you at birth. This is proof that it's a natural law, right? Because it was given to you at birth. It is a human capacity. Now, some people have been damaged and they don't have a functional ability to feel other people's pain, right? Because they've been so abused in their own lifetime. And then some people, they just don't give a damn. They know how you're going to feel, but they rationalize it away, right? I got to get the bag, or I got, man, you get whatever type of self-talk, rationalization, and justification they're doing. They're still breaking natural law, and that's going to come back on them, right? Because the books will always get balanced. Like a friend of mine used to say when I was a child, the tables always get reshuffled, right? The tables get reshuffled and the cards get reshuffled in life. In other words, when you break natural law, there's a consequence, okay? And it's a heavy consequence that you're going to pay for breaking that natural law, all right? That's why it's best to just not harm anybody, okay? Go with the flow of the universe, meaning act in harmony with natural law, and then you won't get ran over by natural law, because it's going to come back at you in bad health, bad relationships, or some other type of problem, all right? Some other suffering. So what am I saying? Natural law is, when we talk about human relations, natural law and human relations, well, actually in everything, natural law in everything, but let's just focus on human relations. It's a self-correcting system. For example, let's say with the airplane, let's say I want to fly from Yucatan to Vietnam. Well, the airplane is not going to fly in a straight line. All right. Let's say the airplane is on auto. Well, no, we didn't even have to do that. Let's say I'm a pilot and I want to fly to from Yucatan to Vietnam. When I fly, it's not going to be in a straight line, right? It won't be in a straight line. What's going to happen? The plane will fly, and then we'll be off course, right? And then I got to correct. Maybe I got to go to the left or to the right, and now I'm back on course, going in the right direction. But as I go, the plane is going to be off course a little bit more. So I check my devices, and I say, okay, well, I need to go back to the left or right a little bit more, and I'm back on course. And we do that zigzag pattern the whole way until I reach Vietnam and land. It was not a straight line like this, but it was like this. Y'all see? There's an autocorrect system, okay? And this is how life is. You're born and you learn. That's auto-correcting. Your learning is auto-correcting, okay? And then you travel through this life until you reach your end, okay? Until you expire, okay? Y'all see what I'm saying? But if you go breaking natural law, instead of you continuously auto-correcting, everything going smooth, okay? You having a good life, what's going to happen is this. You go off and then you go off that way. And then you wind up getting what? Locked up for murder. Or you go off this way, right? You go off this way. Some other bad thing happens. Or you go off this way. Some other bad thing happens. Instead of you auto-correcting. See, in other words, you get sensory input from the environment. Okay? What is that? Do no harm. So you say, okay, I'm not going to do that. So now you auto-correct. Okay? So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. So you auto-correct. Right? And then you learn from that situation. So instead of going this, when you get into a similar situation like that, you're not going to go like this or like that. You're just going to go straight because you've been there before and you learn from it and you're acting on what you learn. But a fool does what? A fool says, okay, I've been here before. I know what's going to happen if I do this. I'm going to do it anyway. Right? And then you suffer the consequences in life. Okay? So this is natural law. Natural law is a self-correcting system. Punishments, incentives, and rewards. All right? Punishments, incentives, and rewards. Okay, so this again is why morality is a made up school of thought that has no basis in natural law. Now that's my opinion. All right. And you'll notice that in the West, all of these morality arguments seem to find their way back to the New Testament. Let me repeat that. All of these moral arguments always seem to find their origin in the New Testament. Now, why is that? Well, because that's the paradigm that they're using to conquer you. This whole love thing, which is a violation of natural law. Y'all see it? Love conquers all. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Look at your life. You show me where love has conquered all. No, that is nothing more than a pipe dream, a hope, a wish, a dream. It has no substance. If love conquers all, go tell your landlord you ain't got no money for the rent and you won't have it for the next 12 months, and tell them you love them. You see if that love conquers all. Or better yet, just go out to one of these big cities in the States and look at the number of homeless people you see. Love conquers all, right? All of the banks who have stolen your hereditaments, they've literally stolen them and hypothecated them, and you on the street, or you're struggling just to get by every day, stressed out, fighting with your children, fighting with your mate, because you don't have enough. But yeah, you sit here in Christianity talking about love conquers all. But you look at your situation that you've been put into by the bankers. That's right, the bankers, the U.S. corporations, and your church. All right, whether you like it or not, and your church. Okay, now why do I say and your church? Well, because Christianity is the origin of maritime law. The Roman Catholic Church brought the law of the sea onto the land, and they're keeping it there. They're keeping it there. So all of these institutions that you have trusted, put your faith in, have betrayed you. And more people have found this out and are finding it out across the world and in these Western countries. But yet, these very same people preach JC to you and love conquers all. Well, it don't conquer all when it comes down to the fiat, and that's not even constitutional money. It's not even gold and silver, it's worthless paper. So it's not about money, it's about a power and control trip. Right? It's about narcissistic, borderline personality, psychopathic type of abusive behavior. I don't even know what to call it, but it's the worst type of thing. Sociopathic. It's the worst type of abuse coming from the worst type of people onto you and making you suffer. Yet they tell you love conquers all. And like an idiot, including me, before I knew what was up and I got out, accepted it. Why? Because that's all we knew. That's all you know. You're born into it. So y'all think about that. Think about that. You're born into a situation, into a world. And because you're born into it, you think that's the way it's always been. Right? So it's normal. But the fact is that that's not normal. It's not normal, right? It is not normal. That's just the world that has been created by the people who have power. Y'all hear? Y'all heard? That's the world that has been created by people who have power. That is not normal. You think it's normal because that's all you know. Right? Because they control the narrative. Okay, so it looks dark right now because it looks like it's going to rain. So they just closed the top covering. So normally this is open air, like when the sun is coming, but they'll put this out if it rains or if the sun is, if the heat is too much. They'll use it to block the sun. All right. But it looks like it's going to rain. So that's why it got dark in here. All right, so y'all hear what I'm trying to say to you? So love doesn't conquer all. That's a pipe dream. If love conquered all, they give you your stuff back. Right? They give you your land back, your ancestral land, right? They tell the truth about who you are in terms of your nationality. Right? They give all of your property back. And they go back to where the hell they came from. If love conquered all. Right? So Christianity just gives you something to hope for and to calm you down. To keep you from what? To keep you from realizing that you are your own savior. And there's no savior coming but you. And if you never wake up, guess what? You have no savior. Or if you never get the courage to stand up for yourself to be a man or a woman. Right? So this whole idea about sovereignty, not sovereign citizen, not that. Sovereignty, constitutional sovereignty, takes courage. It takes effort. And it might even cost life to maintain. So if you're afraid to die and go burn in hell, if you're afraid to die because you might go burn in hell, then guess what? You're going to be on your knees for the rest of your life because you do not have the courage, the psychological, emotional fortitude to stand up and enforce, if needed, required, to defend your sovereignty. So what is this sovereignty thing? This is your right to contract. Okay, your what? Your right to think your own thoughts, make your own decisions, meaning to govern your own life. All right? So we're given what? We're given free will at birth. Original equipment, we come with it, right? Free will. Okay? You can do this or you can do that. Nobody can tell you what to think, right? Somebody can put chains on you, but they cannot tell you what to think, and they cannot tell you or force you what to feel. All right? Nobody can do that except for you. And that's why the Most High gave you that ultimate power to think your own thoughts and to feel your own feelings regardless of what's happening to your physical body, regardless of what's happening in the physical world around you. So what is this telling us? Thinking your own thoughts and feeling your own feelings, this is involved in what? This is your creative what? These are your tools of creation. But anyway, we're going off into a different direction with that conversation. But anyway, going back to it. This whole idea about where were you before birth? Before you were born, where were you? When a man or a woman expires, where do they go? Right? Were you someplace before you came to the earth plane in the physical body? When your body expires, are you going back to that place or someplace else? Well, in the Hebrew scriptures, there is nothing that talks about dying and going to heaven or going to hell. All right? So you hear that philosophy in Christianity. But you got it also from where? You got it from the Ptolemy pharaohs in Egypt. Right? With Serapis Christus, Saltaire. There's a Serapis Christus Saltaire, I think. Right? The anointed Savior, who'll be with his followers even in death. Right, y'all? Who'll be with his followers even in death. And as I've mentioned many times before, the bishops of Serapis, well, the priests of Serapis were called bishops and Christians. Y'all hear that? The followers were called Christians, and the bishops, well, the followers were called Christians, and the priests were called bishops. Serapis, Osiris, and Apis, the deity Osiris, and the deity Apis, the bull. Apis the bull was the constellation, or is the constellation Taurus, right? So that was the era of the bull back then. Okay? And then Osiris, I believe Osiris is the father, right, of the Egyptian Trinity, right? I think it's Osiris, Isis, and is it baby Horus? I don't remember. But anyway, y'all can go check that yourself. So now I've discussed this with some. Well, no. I mentioned this in the astrotheology videos. The Christianity, okay, and the deity those deities I just named, these have their origins, I think, in Brahma. These are the Indian, the Hindustani or whatever. Well, let's just say India, okay? Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Okay, that's the first, or the origin. Okay, I think it's Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and then from them came, and these are the same deities, their names were changed to Osiris, Isis, and Horus, and then you get the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Okay, I went through that in the astrotheology videos. The author brings that out. The relationship between Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, Greek mythology. Hinduism. Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, and then Persian something. Basically, it's fire worship. All right, y'all go back and listen to those videos if you want more on that topic. So none of this stuff is new. But as I was saying, I'm going to jump back. It's the Roman Catholic Church and all their derivatives, all forms of Christianity, be it Hebrew Israelite-ism Christianity, the Baptists, the Methodists, the Lutherans, every last one of them. Every last one of them are one and the same, just like McDonald's is a fast food restaurant, Burger King is a fast food restaurant, KFC is a fast food restaurant, Taco Bell is a fast food restaurant. What's the difference? The only difference are their menus. The only difference are the menus, right? But they all selling what? Burgers, chicken, french fries, and Cokes, and shakes. And they serve it fast. All right? Only difference between these multiple Christian religions is what? Nuances in their doctrines. That's it. And they all tell you that they're all Christian. All right? So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, I think it was yesterday, on this topic. And, well, I'll come back to that. All right? So you won't find anything about an afterlife, dying and going to heaven, or dying and burning in hell, or, from what I understand, GOCC has a, now y'all check this, I'm not a GOCC, never have been, so y'all go check it. This is what somebody told me, all right? So I don't mean to offend any GOCCers if this is not stated 100% accurately. But a current GOCCer told me that their conception of what hell is that when a person dies, you either go to the bosom of Abraham, right? And you're not suffering. But then right across the road, you look across the street and you'll see people burning in hell suffering. All right? You see them burning in hell suffering. So that's a nuance. Whereas other religions, they'll teach that either you just go, you die, burn in hell, right? You're burning in hell. They don't say anything about Abraham and, being in the bosom of Abraham, and you're looking across the street at the people suffering. For example, when I was in the Baptist religion as a little boy, probably wasn't even 10 years old, I remember that that's what they taught. You either die and go to heaven, or you die and you burn in hell. The two places were separate, right? If you're in heaven, you're not going to see hell. Okay, and then when I was in Christianity, they didn't believe that the religion I was in, they didn't believe in a fiery hell, right? Their doctrine was that you just die and that's it. You're gone. No more consciousness, right? So they're all the same. They just have different menus. They're all fast food restaurants. They just have different menus. Okay? Some of them use sea salt and some don't. Right? So Christianity is Christianity. It's Christianity, no matter how you shake it. All right? They are responsible for your condition, right? Because that is the origin. That is the origin of maritime law coming on the land. All right. What I'm trying to say is Christianity is Roman law. That's what I'm trying to say. Rome created this expanded maritime law thing that we see right now, and they maintain it on the land. And this is the... Sir, can I have another one, please? Thanks. And they maintain the current system, right? This is where you get into doctrine of discovery, secret treaty of Verona. You get into all of these things that are happening in the courts. Like, for example, I have a friend who went to court and got totally bullied. Ran over. completely ran over, right? Completely ran over. And it was a civil matter. It was a matter concerning a landlord. Completely ran over. Disrespected. Okay? So how does that happen? Well, I'm telling y'all how it happens. All right? So Christianity keeps you in a state of passiveness. Okay? And it also promulgates, in other words, what I'm trying to say is that these oppressive policies, this whole fiat system, finds its way back to Rome. That's all I'm trying to say. And Rome is Christianity. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, no, thank you. Thank you, no, thank you. Rome is Christianity. Sorry. Rome is Christianity, y'all. All right. Let me repeat that. Rome is Christianity. Right? So, let me restate this. The U.S. corporation is Rome. The U.S. corporation is Rome. When you were in school, did you learn about Greek mythology? Did you learn about Greek philosophy? Right? In college, weren't you forced? Didn't they jam Greek philosophy down your throat in college? Y'all remember that? Those of you who had college experience? They jammed Greek philosophy down your throat. Right? If it's not Greek, it's not legitimate, it's not worth discussing, they jam it down your throat. Right? The U.S. corporation operates off of Greek philosophy. Okay? Greek philosophy. The U.S. corporation is Rome. In other words, it's run by the Vatican. And its laws are based in, if y'all follow me, y'all already should know this. Its laws are based in what? The Hebrew and Greek scriptures. Primarily, well, let me rephrase that. The Hebrew and Greek scriptures. I'll focus on Hebrew because Hebrew is allegedly the basis or foundation of the New Testament. Y'all understand what I'm saying to you? Is there a historical Rome? Is there a historical Greece? I question whether these governments ever really existed. And there's a lot of people who've done a lot of research that's convincing, okay? That shows that there never was a Roman Empire and there never was a place called Greece. All right? But there is a Roman Catholic Church. Y'all see that? There is a Roman Catholic Church. So if there was never a Rome and there was never a Greece, where did this stuff come from? It came from the Roman Catholic Church. Right? They're magicians. Made up histories. They made up a country called Rome. They made up another country called Greece, and they made up histories to go with it. And then they created artwork, and then they backed that up with what? Fake archaeological findings to make it real in your mind, to make it convincing in your mind. But Rome, I'm giving you my opinion, it's not just me alone. Rome is in fact the Roman Catholic Church. All right? The Roman Catholic Church. Everything that they said that Rome did, the country or the empire, no. It's the Roman Catholic Church. Those are their policies. It's the Roman Catholic Church policies. There never was a Rome. There never was a Greek or Greece, the way they presented in history. Never existed, y'all. And like I said, I admit that that's my opinion, right? And I arrive at that opinion because when I read, I think critically and I do my own analysis. And I don't believe something just because an author or just because a body of professionals or experts say it's so. I don't do that. Why? Why? Because education, let me put it in simple terms. There are levels to education. Yeah, y'all get that. There are levels to education, okay? There are levels to education, okay? When you get to the highest level, you're no longer reading and trying to understand and trying to master. You're able to look down on it. And what I'm saying is that you're standing above it and you're looking down on it. And then you can make evaluations and determinations about various models. Okay? And then you can say, well, this one, you can point out its strengths, its weaknesses, other things about it, right? You're beyond the level of mastery. You're no longer trying to master it, use it, do it, explain it, theorize about it. You've gone a level above that, all right? Where you're actually able to criticize it. Okay? And come to your own conclusions and what? Your own conclusions and determinations. Things should be done this way. Things should be done that way. Right? So you're no longer a user. Now you are what? One step above master. Whatever that might be. Right? You're no longer a user of it. You're no longer trying to master it. You've already mastered it. Now you can comment on it, evaluate it, right? It's a different level. But anyway, so it is what it is, y'all. So if you're still in, let's say if you're a Hebrew Israelite, or if you're, let's say, a Moor, you're a Moor, and you're involved in like the type of Moorish law, religion type of thing. I don't know how to explain it, but I think y'all know what I'm talking about. If you're involved in any type of religion, now the reason why I'm mentioning Moors is because I've observed that a lot of the Moorish people, no, let me rephrase that. A lot of the people who are Moors, are involved in organizations or following people who are pushing a type of legalistic religion. Okay? And quite often, they're accepting Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. The religions, okay? The religions. They're accepting it or acknowledging them consciously or unconsciously, right? So, of course, those are Abrahamic religions, so those fall into the same category of the Catholic Church. So we're talking religion, not bloodline, not natural law. You heard? Talking religion, not bloodline, not natural law, but religion, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, all right? All coming out of the Catholic Church. Y'all heard? So one of the most well, I guess I can't say most fundamental laws, but if you want to start somewhere to return to the Most High, so the question is, who is the Most High, right? So return to who when we say the Most High? A lot of people are really confused. So return to the Most High, what does it mean? Well, one of the natural laws, one of the most important natural laws, is not honoring, respecting, worshiping, reverencing any external deity, be it a man, woman, object, or a God. Right, y'all? Exodus 20, verse 1 through 4. Right? Don't bring another power before my face. Right, y'all? So you bring Allah, JC, who else? Krishna, whoever you want, Fiat, and you're slaving, reverencing, and looking for it, that, or they to save you, meaning to do something for you, then you're breaking natural law. You're asking for a calamity, a grave calamity. You're asking for it. You're asking for it. Look back on your life. When you look to other people to do something for you, what has happened most of the time? Think about that. What has happened most of the time? Look at it practically, honestly, in your own life. When you relied on people who were close to you to help you, what happened most of the time? And what was a hard lesson that you had to learn? You want something done, you better do it yourself. Right? Even if you pay people, a lot of times they still are not going to do it. What percentage of your prayers are actually answered? What percentage of your prayers, let's say this year, We're 8 months in, right? We're 8 months in. What percentage of your prayers have actually been answered? And no doubt that it was the deity or the fiat, the money, or whoever that saved you. What percentage? 100%? 100%? Huh? 80% of your prayers were answered? Hey y'all, now listen. If it's, can I have ice please? Ice? Thank you. 80% is just grade letter B. 80% is just grade letter B. That's not too good. Well, grade letter B is good, in my opinion, if you have average standards. If your standard is average, then the grade letter B is good. If you have high standards, grade letter B is not good. Right? If you have grade letter A, hey, thank you. If you have grade letter A, 90, 91, 92, 93%, well, that's good. Okay? That's good. If you have 95%, 96%, well, let me rephrase that. If you have 96%, 97%, 98%, 99%, 100%, that is very good. See the difference in expectations? Grade letter A is good, but it's nothing to be so happy about if it's less than 95%. You didn't do anything amazing. Sit down and go back and study. Come talk to me when you're getting 96% and above consistently. Okay? Now you're very good. So when you look at 80% of your prayers being answered, that's just grade letter B. It's not good. Especially when you're talking about a supernatural deity and he can only do 80%. Why can't he do 100%? He's a supernatural deity where he don't care about you. Why you're not kicking 100% consistently if there's some external deity out here working on your behalf, hooking you up? Why is it that you always have to figure out what you're doing wrong? Why your prayer wasn't answered? Why does it always fall back on you? What you didn't do? Oh, y'all see, they're turning the water on. The waterfall is on now. I'm going to go over there shortly so y'all can see it. The water's on now. Y'all know why this water is important to come up like this? What's happening is that the water is pumped up through the pipe. And when the water is pumped up through the pipe, of course, it's in the atmosphere, right? So oxygen is being absorbed into the water. And so when the water falls back down into the pond, it's oxygenated. So this is how oxygen is supplied to the fish so that the fish and the plant life can live. So the water has to be oxygenated. This is why we see waterfalls in nature. This is why we see crashing waves in nature, because it oxygenates the water so that life, aquatic, be it animals, fish, whales, whatever, and plants can live. And also what? The microbiome that's in the water can live. So I'm always fascinated about this stuff. I studied water when I was in college, undergrad. But anyway, let's go back to it. Are you getting 50% of your prayers answered? Are you getting 40% of your prayers answered? Are you getting 1% of your prayers answered? Or do you have that big fat zero, that big fat 0% of your prayers answered? Zero. Most of y'all kicking zero. If not all of y'all are kicking 0% of your prayers answered this year. What percentage of your prayers have been answered over the past 5 years? Be honest with yourself. What percentage of your prayers were answered over the past 5 years? And if you had prayers that were answered, how do you know that it was answered by an external deity? How do you know? And what action did you take that an observer, let's say, who doesn't or who didn't believe in your religion, who observed it, would that observer say that the deity done it? Or would the observer say it was the action that you took that did it? What percentage of your prayers have been answered over the past 10 years, over your lifetime? If you never thought about this, maybe you should. Right? Maybe you should. Take a critical look at your life and your relationship with this deity. I want to go check the waterfall out, y'all. I don't know if y'all can see it from here, but I'm going to go check it out. Let's take a look. So these are the questions we have to ask ourselves, right? Be honest with ourselves so we can justify, we can have a reason to justify our continued devotion to these external deities. You know what I mean? What good is a beautiful car if you can't drive it? Especially a beautiful car that you always have to put money into, but you never get anything out of it. What good is it to you? See, most people would sell it, right? Most people would sell any asset that you constantly got to pump money into, like a type, a monthly type or a monthly double type. You're constantly pumping money into it, constantly giving donations, constantly going out teaching and preaching on the street corners, in people's homes like I used to do. 90 hours a week, 113 hours a week. Y'all see what I'm saying? Not a week, a month. Right? Doing all of these things to benefit the deity, but that doesn't benefit yourself. Y'all see what I'm saying? So that's the issue. Right? So you're going to keep pumping money into it? Huh? Keep pumping money into that religion, into that external deity, and you're not getting anything out of it? Oh, here's a little kiddie area right here. I would suppose this place gets really packed. It's Saturday here in Vietnam right now, Saturday morning. All right, y'all. So be honest. Is the deity performing for you? Is the deity answering your prayers? Is the deity giving you back more than what you're giving him or it or her? Whatever it is you're serving. Right? Or are you constantly making excuses, constantly trying to figure out what you need to do differently? Why you're not getting this and why you're not getting that? Right? You're always letting the deity off the hook because why? You're always blaming yourself. Or like in the religion I was in, they'll say something like, well, it's just not for you. When the deity wants you to have it, he'll give it to you. And I bought that. Right, y'all? I actually bought that. So let's go back. Let's go back to it. So where were you before birth? Where do you go after birth? Or were you just never in existence to begin with, and there's no point to answer the question? Well, the answer lies in silence. And only you and your silence can answer that question for you. Don't accept my answer. My answer is not important. You get silent. You get silent. You do whatever reading or other type of research. You reconnect with nature and see what answers come to you. Right? What comes to you. And then that's what you go with. That's what you go with. All right? So again, there is only consciousness. There is only consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is awareness. Awareness is embedded with what? Data, information. Data and information. Consciousness, awareness exist in many states. Right? The invisible state. In other words, and what does invisible mean? Invisible means that you just cannot see it with your eyes. Right? But there's a lot of things that you can't see with your own eyes. That's why corporations make, or scientists make, and there's a lot of money put in the discovery of sensors. Like an MRI, like an X-ray machine, right? Simple, very simple. All right? Remember, you have sensory apparatus, for example, your eyes, they can only perceive information that falls within a certain range. For example, you can't see infrared. Right? You cannot see infrared. That doesn't mean that there is no infrared light. Okay? It just means that our eyes are not designed to see infrared. That's all. But you can create technologies so that you can see all kinds of things that exist, but that are not perceivable by your eyes, by your ears, by your nose, by your ability to touch or tactile, right? It's still there. So consciousness or awareness, data, information exists in forms that you cannot see. What's another example of that? You look up in the sky, let's say it's a beautiful day, there are no clouds, right? The sky is blue, you see the sun. It's a golden color, right? But you don't see water vapor, do you? But it exists. It exists. You don't see the nitrogen. It exists. Okay? It exists. You don't see molecules and atoms. You don't see waves and particles. But it exists. Y'all might call it spiritual. The unseen, right? There's a scripture in the New Testament that says something like the things that are seen come from the unseen. That takes you back to what? Einstein's E equals MC squared. Okay, the things seen come from the things that are unseen, which is Einstein's E equals MC squared. Or in Egyptology, I think it has to do with the atum, right? If y'all want to know more about that, go search Dr. Oyibu on YouTube and Gaga, G-A-G-U-T, God Almighty Grand Unified Theorem, and he'll tell you about the Egyptian story about the Atum and how he was able to use that. According to him, the ancestors, or no, not the ancestors, but he says that God Almighty gave him the information. Okay? So go back and listen to that. He's a very famous scientist. I think he did his master's and PhD at MIT. But yeah, y'all go back and listen to that. But anyway, that's what it is. And then you have other states, right? You have the gaseous state. You have the liquid state. For example, like liquid water, liquid nitrogen, mercury, liquid mercury, right? Many, many kinds of liquids. And then there's the frozen or ice, right? There's ice, like ice cubes, water. Okay, so things come in many different states, all right? But it's all the same stuff. It's all consciousness. Consciousness is awareness, is data or information, knowledge, right? That's all it is. Energy. Energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It simply what? Changes form. It transforms. It transitions. So at death, does your consciousness transition? Or does it just leave your physical body? At birth, does your consciousness condense itself into that fetus, that baby? And then at death, it transitions itself or leaves and goes back to what? To universal consciousness or wherever it came from? You decide, right? But this is science, not religion. I'm not talking religion. Some of you all might think I'm talking religion, but no, this is not religion. It is a fact that consciousness exists outside of your physical body. In other words, the I, the decision maker, the one who intends to walk, the one who intends to lift a finger, the one who intends to shoot a basketball or to dunk. That's outside of the physical body. Cannot be, you attach sensors, you can't find it in the human body. The only thing you'll find is the activation of the intention. In other words, I decide to jump, right? That decision to jump, there's no sensor that can detect it. But what is detected is the biochemical or electrical activity that results or that gets initiated and that results in jumping. Y'all understand? All right? So when I see these people with their altars, sometimes I wonder if that is what they're referring to. The Vietnamese people having their altars. Remember we were talking about in the very beginning? They have altars and then they have their ancestors on it. Or is it Nephilim or Raphaim, right? These departed spirits. Okay, these Nephilim are the children of the in Genesis. For those of you who may not be aware of this, so in the book of Genesis, you'll read about these angels that had sexual relations with women on earth, natural. Genesis chapter 2, women on earth. and they had offspring. These are called Nephilim. And somewhere down that line, or through the generations of Nephilim, their name changed to Raphaim. And their physical bodies could die, but then they'd had a spiritual body and a spiritual life, right? And these, in religion, they refer to these as demons. These are those evil, wicked spirits that want to inhabit a living fleshly body so that they can continue to enjoy sex, continue to enjoy alcohol, smoking, or whatever their thing was. They can maybe they like killing. They could continue war, right? They can continue and enjoy war. Or they can continue and enjoy, y'all know what I'm trying to say, KILLING people, right? They can continue doing that. Or they can continue in the orgies, right? Whatever their vices were, they can continue to enjoy it by inhabiting a physical body. So I was wondering, well, maybe that has something to do with that. Maybe there's some history. And then that's why they're making these altars. I don't know. I don't have a clue. It's just my imagination. Right? Because with the altar, there's no physical body there for them to inhabit. It's just the fruit, the alcohol, the cigarettes. So maybe there's a story of Nephilim or Raphaim. Okay? And they want to enjoy these things. So maybe this is, who knows? I'm just imagining. I have no clue. But I sure would like to know. Because I saw similar idols in India. Not idols, but similar altars in India, everywhere. Everywhere. And then I was thinking, wow, you know, this whole thing about don't bring another power before my face, and the house of Yasharallah being destroyed because it's worshiping these external deities. See, let me tell y'all, the Most High isn't benefiting by you not worshiping external deities. You don't even know who the Most High is to begin with. 99% of y'all. Although, if you paid attention to this video, you should know, because I told you. I didn't tell you directly. The Most High doesn't benefit at all by you not worshiping an external deity like JC or any other. How does it benefit him? Okay, he's not on planet Earth, so why would he be jealous? Right? Don't attribute an emotion that we experience as humans to an external deity. Don't do that. That's a mistake, right? Don't anthropomorphize the Most High. That sounds funny, but, right? Don't mix apples and oranges. Why would he be jealous? He's not a man. Don't give him attributes of a man or a woman. If he, in fact, is spiritual, lives in heaven or wherever you say he lives, or you're going to say he has feelings. There is no right and wrong in nature. There just is. Things are. It is. Natural law is about harm, right? Consciousness, that's about harming other people. Okay? It's a big difference. No, the reason that you must not bring another power before the Most High's face is, as I've said before, because you give your power to it when you are in fact what? You are the power. You are the creative person. In other words, you are the God. You're your own savior. And nobody's going to look out for you the way you will look out for yourself if you were in your right mind, if you knew or if you know who you are. This is why your self-image is destroyed in media and in schools. This is why I would never put my child in a public school if I had one in the U.S. Never. This is why the educational curriculum is designed to destroy your child's self-image and self-respect. All right, y'all? So y'all think about that. Who is the Most High? And how do you know? And what natural law? First of all, how do you even know? How do you identify what a natural law is? How do you know what a natural law is? Think about that. See, you're so disconnected from nature, not that it's your fault, but it's just your condition. But you are so disconnected from nature that you don't even know what a natural law is. Y'all cannot imagine how many people ask me, what are the natural laws? Well, if it's natural, it should be what? Inside of you. You should know it. Huh? If it's natural. So what happened to you? Why don't you know? Why don't you even have a clue as to how to figure it out? Why do you need to go read something? And I'm not saying don't go read something. My point is that you don't know in your present state of mind. You are unaware. Why is that? Well, I can tell you why. Because the natural law has been replaced with religion. Right? So you're not conscious of it. It's not in your consciousness, but it's there. It kicks you every day. It is kicking you every day. Wake up, Dorothy. You're under a spell. So break the God spell. Break the Gospels. Break the God spell. You, my friend, are under a terrible spell. It's so effective and so terrible that you're afraid to even think about the possibility that you are under a spell. You are afraid, terrified, that if you even entertain thinking about it, it's betraying your deity. And it's going to result in your prayers not getting answered or you burning in hell. Something crazy like that. Ooh, I'm so glad I'm not in Christianity anymore. Y'all are under a very, very powerful spell. And this tetragrammaton deity is the worst, the most vindictive, the most vicious, the most foul and disgusting of all of them. In fact, y'all should come to The Saturday class, it's a 506 The Curses course. The link is in the description area of this video. Y'all welcome to come this Saturday. So I've been presenting supplemental information the last, I guess, 2 classes, supplemental information on the Tetragrammaton that I have not presented in the past. Okay? So last class we discussed the pronunciation of the Tetragrammaton, the name, why it is the unutterable name. Let me repeat that. Why the Tetragrammaton is the unutterable name. It's not what y'all think. It has nothing to do with holiness. It's the exact opposite. So we discussed that in the class, and y'all are welcome to come learn. Free. You can come observe. Free. Free. But half of y'all scared. Half of y'all afraid to even learn. And then some of y'all too, just too lazy and indifferent to come. And then quite often, those who get the courage to come in undergo cognitive dissonance. Because the evidence that's presented, and I'm not talking doctrine, religious doctrine. I'm talking about evidence and facts, linguistic, historical, etc., are contrary to what you've been taught in Christianity. And many people can't take that, right? They can't take it. It's too much for them, right? They get angry, confused, argumentative, and I understand that. That's a natural phenomenon. It's okay. But I'm saying this so that if you come to class and you start to feel that way, just know what that process is. And it's completely normal. All right? A lot of people leave. They want to hear JC, the Christ figure, right? They want to hear end time prophecy. They want to hear precept upon precept and all of that garbage. Watch the video that I did with Sonetta. The title is something like all Abrahamic religions are a hoax or something like that. Also watch Genesis chapter 1 and 2 video that I did. Okay? Also watch a video, I don't remember the name of it. Liar, liar, something like that. It has a guy with a Pinocchio nose. Also watch the video that I did where it's Neanderthal. Looks like he's hung on a stake. All right? So you watch that. Watch the videos that I did. The Moors are the powers or the gods on earth. Something like that. Y'all go back and watch these. These are fundamental principles. Okay? I will tell you directly that you've been had in religion. And the way to a happy, healthy, prosperous life is returning to the Most High, which is following natural law. This is what Deuteronomy chapter 28, etc. is all about. What the Ten Commandments is all about. That's what returning to the Most High is, returning to nature. Honorable conduct at all cost. Honorable conduct at all cost. But you Christians, you know that has no place in your life right now, right? Because you stab your own mother in the back if you have a good reason to. especially if it involves some money. All right? You know it's true. Y'all good Hebrew Israelites. Boy, y'all the worst. You good Hebrew Israelite hypocrites. Down talking Christians, but you 100 times worse than Christians. 100 times worse than Christians. Hebrew Israelites. Anyway, hey y'all, I got to go. Like my uncle used to say, I got to went. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. If I offended you, don't come back. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. Islam to all the Moors. Shalawama to the entire house of Yasharallah. If you like the way I teach, if you like the way I talk, if you like the concepts that we are trying to put back into our people, which is natural law and the complete abandonment of religion in all of its form, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, to return to nature. If that appeals to you, then come to our Saturday class. It's a live online class. The link is in the description area of this video, 506 Curses course. Also subscribe to our 101 Ancient Ibaryath course, all right? That's gonna get you started. Everything that I know, everything that I've been able to filter through or to filter, relate, match up, and do something useful with, has its origin in Ancient Ibaryath. All right? Has its origin in Ancient Ibaryath. If reading comprehension is something that you need to improve on, that you never learned in school, if that's important to you, subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. It's a streaming course. Come to our 506 The Curses course, right? Every Saturday, live online. The links to all of this is in the chat. If returning to nature, if reclaiming, whether you're a Moor, right? Or if you ascend from the house of Yasharallah, you're still Moors. If reclaiming your heritage is important to you, heritage includes not just land, not just other tangibles, but also language. If reclaiming your language, Ancient Ibaryath, is important to you, then consider, in addition to all of the things I just mentioned, consider purchasing our books. I have 7 links to books that I've written and we publish in the description area of this video. Consider buying a copy for yourself, for your friends and family. You can also support us by making a donation or investment in us or in me, in Zion Law School, or in me, I'm Dr. Yasapa, on our Cash App, which is $ Dr. Yasapa, $DrYasapa, $DrYasapa, or our PayPal, which is paypal.me/Zion Law School. So you have a lot of ways you can support us through subscribing to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. It's $10, no contract, cancel anytime, but I'm sure you'll never cancel, right? That is an amazing course. So you have a lot of ways to support. You have a lot of ways to show appreciation if that's what you want to do, all right? You have a lot of options to allow us to assist you in returning to the Most High. And I'm very appreciative and honored for those of you who choose to let me teach you and guide you on how to return to the Most High. This is not a religion type of thing, all right? That's not what we do. Anyway, Islam to all the Moors, Shalawama to the entire house of Yasharala. I will see y'all on the next one.